Hi everyone and welcome back to C Sharp TV once again. You're watching a dash of .NET, quick bites of .NET wisdom, and in this episode we're going to learn about CQRS. Now, am I an expert? No way at all. To talk about CQRS today, we'll be joined by Victoria, who's a senior software engineer and an expert not just in .NET or C Sharp, but a lot of tech stacks.
Hello.
Thanks, Victoria, for joining us today. And we're really excited to learn about the software architecture stuff today and how CQRS can supercharge our application. I'm not going to take any more of your time, and I'll let you take the stage.
Okay. Yeah, let's go. Okay, today we will talk about CQRS. It's Command and Query Responsibility Segregation. It's what's one of pattern, architecture patterns. So what I will talk, my plans, I want to talk with you about history of architecture. Then we will talk about a little example of service, very small service, and we will implement it from step by step, from first architecture style to modern architecture styles. And of course, we will talk about CQRS. Okay, let's talk. First, what we had, it's spaghetti code architecture. It's when any developer wrote code like he want. Yes, and so it's not useful code if you talk something in one class, it can be broke in another class. It's useful for this architecture, yeah, and of course it's not good architecture style. Okay, then developers think why we should live with this architecture. We should get some new, yeah. So they think and create layers architecture. When I think all developers know this architecture style, it's when you have UI, API, ABI, wherever, some UI, okay, and in the middle business logic and data access layer when you use your database or something like that, something which have data. Okay, but problem of this style, it's in UI, it's spaghetti code. In business logic, it's spaghetti code too. Yeah, it's more useful because it's you have layers, but what happened inside, it's spaghetti code. So, but it's better, of course. So developers creating solid principles, yes, and they started to think why business logic, it so depends on data access layer, yes. So they turn this implementation and of course change squares to cycles and create clean architecture. Yeah, it's very close. Yeah. So what is clean architecture? It's when you have domain layer in your center of architecture and UI tests infrastructure and other world talk with domain layer through services. Yeah. Okay. CQRS. CQRS. It's. Do you remember when we in .NET started to use setters and getters in our classes? When we started use one function to set our field and get another function. Yes, it's same idea, but in your microservices, in your system. When you use one application to write and other application to read. Why we need it? If you imagine, for example, internet shop, around 80, maybe 90% of our queries, it's just read data. And only 10, maybe less percent, it's change your data. So It's mean that you should can improve your path of your system to read data, and other part it's separated. Yes, this process. You should can, for example, here 10 pods and here only one pod. You don't need to write data a lot of pods in your Kubernetes. Yeah, if we will talk about this about Kubernetes. So it doesn't mean that you should use two databases. Not, of course not. It can be one databases. Some project write data and use entity framework, but for read they use Dapper because Dapper read data more faster, easier, yeah, better. But entity framework very powerful to write and change your data. So maybe this guy, it's not database. Maybe it's just materialized view, or maybe Elasticsearch, everything. But main idea that you should separate your application to two apps. Yeah. Okay. Go to our example. It's user service. It's very simple user service with only one feature. It's register user. What we should do, we should check that we don't have user with this email. We should create user in our database. We should add bonuses to this user because he's good guy, and register in our service and send email that everything okay. Yeah. So first implementation, it's our spaghetti code, it's a controller, and it's just path of my code, because here I don't have profiling, I don't have normal logging, authorization, error processing, all of this stuff, because if I will show you it, it will vary a lot of code in one function. Of course, it's not useful. Yeah, so okay, clean architecture. Yes, next level, it's when we have user service, which will save our user, create our user, and some notify service, which will send email, maybe not email, doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, this our function. Better, yeah, of course better. You can reuse send email, you can reuse create user with bonus. It's not so good, practice here, create user with bonus. It should be user service and bonus service. We should create user and send bonuses. I will show you why. It's first problem of our layers. Yeah, I will show you. Okay, go to create users. Do you see any difference between create users and first implementation? I don't see it. I don't see it too. It's mean that we just change location of our code to just other file, and yeah, it's not so good. We don't have solution here. For example, question where we should validate email. Yeah, maybe in controller, maybe we should create new function in user service that validate email. Maybe we should create it in user service and call it here, maybe in controller. Whereas, yeah, we don't know. I don't know any. I saw any developers who create this method in service but call it in controller. Some people call it in create user method, because how we can create user and don't without validating email. Okay, a second question: where is should be save changes? It should be here, but what if balance it will other table? Yes, and we will have balance service with method add balance. Yes, so it means save change, it should be in controller, because maybe we want that these two operations will be in one Postgres transaction. Don't know. Okay, so some people get put save changes here in user service. Some people put it in controller. Some people put it, use union pattern and its other method. So a lot of questions and spaghetti code too. Yeah. So here around 5 years ago, I think maybe layers, it's not so best solution for create your application. Maybe we should create it not based on layers, but based on user features. Yes, user use cases. We don't think about, oh, what layer is it? Maybe it should be in repository. Maybe it should be in user service. Maybe it should be in controller. Why I should think about it? I want to think about use cases, not about layers. So, and then around 5 years ago, I read about mediator. I read about handlers, and I love it so much because I can start think about features, not about services, not about repository, not about all of the stuffs, but only about handlers of my requests. So you can put in your handler everywhere. Yeah, you can put a domain model, you can put a Dapper, legacy code, API client to other service. Doesn't matter. It's that your handler, it's one feature. Yeah, it's one use case of your application. Okay, what happened with user services in this new model? Okay, let's imagine simple user services. It have these functions. I brush use get user method in yellow because it's query. It's doesn't change our data of user. So it's very close to CQRS model. Yeah. So yellow command, it's just path of our application. Okay, so what happened with our register user command handler? It's very simple. You should create user. You should give bonuses of this user, and you should notify it. What different? Yeah, I can, of course, I can create bonus services and create function give, and in controller put these three lines too. Yes, user service send user service, or user service create user, bonus service give bonuses, and notify service send email. But here I can reuse this register user, yes, feature. I can use it in other places. And I started to think about register user not like about API command. I think about like about feature. So I want that everywhere think about handlers, mediator, and started to be application, not like layer application, but like feature application. Yeah.